This is the Guy Gordon Show on News Talk 760 WJR.
Well, you've almost made it to the weekend, and if you can correctly identify our Friday musical theme, we will send you to see Eric Clapton in concert September 10th at Little Caesars Arena. So hold your guess, listen to the clues, and hopefully we can send you to see Slow Hand at LCA. We got a lot of good stuff for the next 2 hours. Some of it fun, some of it frivolous, but that's okay. It's been a heavy week. But we also want to talk about the serious business going on up in Lansing to put more money back in your pocket. The revenue, the consensus amounts show the state government made $5 to $6 billion more in this, think about it, in this fiscal year than they anticipated. And they'd like to give some of it back to you. Governor Whitmer has her plan, which is a $500 tax rebate per household, $100 plus for each child within that household. The GOP has a tax cut plan that would take the income tax rate from 4.25% down to 4%. But there's some other things in there for families with children and also seniors. And we want to get kind of the backstory on the fine print of this because it's a very comprehensive tax cut plan. We turn to Senator Ruth Johnson, who is a Republican, as we know from Holly and our former Secretary of State. Senator, good afternoon.
Great to be on with you. And you're right, Guy. It is very serious. Yesterday, the Senate passed a historic tax cut plan.
$2.6 billion is the total price tag, but when you're looking at a windfall of $5 to $6 billion in revenues that you didn't anticipate, no one can argue that this isn't already paid for to some degree.
They really should not argue it because we sit on surpluses that are unheard of. Every family in Michigan is feeling the crunch on their pocketbooks from inflation. We tried to do this a few months ago, but the governor vetoed it, and now she's threatening to do it again. The governor is sitting on $10 billion, that's billion dollars of surplus, and the plan we passed is only $2.5 billion, getting it back to the people. They're having sticker shock right now at the grocery store and the gas station.
Yeah.
It's their money. Their money should be returned to them. And I think it's very difficult for our governor who tries to wear two part-time hats. One is the vice chair of the Democratic National Party, and one is the governor of a state that has both Democrats and Republicans and independents. So
let's tell people what they get in the deal here, because I think that's what really matters to the listeners here, is that there is something quite significant for families here with the child tax credit. Tell us about that.
Sure. So the legislation we passed yesterday would do a number of things to help all Michigan residents. Our plan would reduce the tax bill for a family of four by $1,300 a year. It would lower the state income tax from 4.25% to 4%. And it also increases the personal income tax deduction by $1,800. And to help families, we included a $500 tax credit per child under the age of 19. And to help seniors who are often hit hardest by inflation, Guy, because they're on fixed incomes. Our plan includes increasing the exemption on senior income for those over 67 years old and indexing it to inflation. The exemption would be up to $21,800 for a single filer and $43,600 for a joint filer. And we also included 100% property tax exemption for fully disabled veterans. It's a comprehensive plan, and we need to help those most that are so vulnerable to the inflation that we're seeing. And so we've tripled the earned income tax credit from 6% to 20% to protect the wages of low-income workers.
And why is that important? Because, I mean, it can have a broad economic impact. And that's something also that Democrats might sign on to as we negotiate this package, Senator Johnson. Why was the earned income tax credit so important to you from a labor force standpoint?
I grew up in a very blue-collar neighborhood in Waterford, salt of the earth, hard workers, and people right now are getting eaten alive at the gas pumps and at the grocery stores. They're working. If they're out there working, providing services, and as you know, we're low on workers, we need to make sure that we thank them, and this is the best way to thank them. So,
but more than that, Ruth, you've got so many workers that are sitting on the sidelines because of child care costs and things like that. If you reduce the cost of the child, you can get those people back into the workforce, and that helps Michigan's economy. It also boosts productivity. That can help lower inflation, too.
Right, so the tax credit would do just that. They would get much more back to help pay for whatever it is that they have to pay for. And for many, it is child care, not for all. We want to make sure that we are here to help everyone in these very trying times. And it's very difficult to work with the governor that vetoes stuff without even telling you she's going to, or even chiming in so that we know where we're going and how to go. It's just been, I've worked under 5 governors. This one's been the hardest, for sure, by none. And, you know, she can keep doing these things, but they don't help the people of Michigan. And we need to help. We agree on 80%. Communication is so important. Even 10 bills that were bipartisan for our election, she vetoed. Now, that were both Democrat and Republican supported.
We know that she has proposed cutting the so-called pension tax or repealing the pension tax. You have constructed your tax benefit to seniors a little bit differently. Why was that?
When you look at her pension tax, it's only for a small portion of the residents in Michigan. We're looking at trying to help everyone. Many people have 401ks or they've saved money somehow for retirement and don't get a pension. We want to make sure everyone is helped, and that's why the Republican plan has something for everyone.
So this came out from a group called Fund Michigan Future. They are very big on boosting funding for education and things like that. Their counterweight is, with this windfall of revenues, this should be spent as for more affordable water systems, better roads that we can be proud of, world-class schools for all students. They seem to cast this as an either-or, that we can't do both. Can we do both?
Absolutely. We're sitting on $10 billion worth of a surplus, and the Republican plan gets $2.5 billion back to the people who really need it right now. So there's plenty of time to haggle over other things, but we need to get that money back in the pockets of the people of Michigan right now.
The governor has said, look, her tax rebate plan, and I believe that Curtis Hertel has put a little bit more detail to it right now. There would be a $250,000 gross income cutoff for families making over that. They wouldn't get any benefit. For those under, it would be $500 per household, $100 per child. They would get it this year when they're getting hit hardest by inflation. For their tax benefits under the GOP plan, you'd have to wait until 2023 when you do your taxes. Why isn't their proposal perhaps a more immediate form of relief?
Well, I think we're looking at how we can do it at the lowest cost also. If people know that the money's coming, they know that everyone's going to benefit. It's something that really is a benefit to everyone. And as far as the governor's plans, to tell you the truth, I've worked with 5 governors. And this governor I've only seen once in the Capitol. Communication is not real strong, and that doesn't help anyone.
While I got you here as a former Secretary of State, I've got to ask you, with what we're watching, here is this Friday afternoon in Pennsylvania. We have yet to have a winner declared in the Pennsylvania GOP primary, the Senate primary between Dr. Oz and Kathy Barnett and others. David McCormick. Are we getting a preview of what we could see here in August and November with our no excuses absentee voting, that we may still be counting absentee ballots 3 and 4 days after the polls have closed?
One of the things that was a change last time was that more communities were using the fast counting machines, and that really makes a difference when they use the fast counters. And so I think with that, and I had a bill that allowed not for the ballot to be shown, but for them to go ahead and register that ballot and get the outer envelope open on Mondays. I'm hoping to get that bill through the legislature again, but having a really hard time getting things that we need, such as we want more places that people can vote that are secure, and that was House Bill 4528. That was for training, and she vetoed that, but also more places to vote.
But why not count them early, Ruth? I mean, that's what they do down in Florida, and that's a well-run Republican state.
Yes, Michigan is not the same as most of the other states, and sometimes people get confused. We are a local home rule state.
Okay.
If we were like Florida, we'd have 83 counties that you would vote at. We have 1,525 local clerks that conduct elections. You can't have more than 2,999
All right. That helps explain
people.
it, yeah. Yeah, that's a much heavier lift and much more complicated training and everything else. Ruth Johnson, thank you so much. It's Friday and it's beginning to show. You have a great weekend, Senator, and I know it's going to be a busy one in Lansing next week as well. Take care.
Thank you.